So many men, nearly all men that I've talked to that are married, have encouraged me not to get married and have told me that they encourage other men not to get married. And it's no secret that a lot of men nowadays are not taking marriage seriously, at least in the Western cultures and society. And the reason for that is mainly due to the laws. I mean, it's really remarkable that a woman
And the women.
can cheat on her husband and still get custody of the kids. It's like, you really, really, government? You want to have somebody that is capable of deception and cruelty toward their own flesh and blood to run the household? Like, oh, wait, that's our government in the United States. So it does make sense, actually. So it's almost like every single law around marriage right now in the United States and just in the West in general is contrasted with favoring women. And I've had some really terrible stories that I've heard from men,
Same.
and the women have had to pay little to no consequences for those actions. So
Same dudes. Oh my God, some of the worst ones. Let me tell you. One guy found out he got AIDS. Never slept around, faithful to his woman. He found out when he was getting sick. He had a friend who all he did was sleep around. Never had any issues whatsoever. This guy was faithful to his wife until he started getting sick and he found out he had an STD. One of many stories. Other dudes drinking themselves all the way down
All
to the
right,
bottom of the
so
glass.
just right here, he's talking from a point of only making it seem like it's the men that's getting burned, I guess you can say. And when he knows, and we know how men are, they stay cheating. So don't be trying to make it look like, oh, it's just a female thing, and this is what females do, and this is what happens when females do it. You guys do the same thing, especially back in the day. And I'm gonna talk a little bit more about that later, when women, we had to depend on you guys and financially, and to have things, because we stayed at home as stay-at-home moms raising our kids.
Every morning, bro, in the morning, the moment the bar opened, they would be there. It was insane to see. And the stories were crazy. Dude lives out in his truck or his van. He used to have a big house, 2 kids, blah, blah, blah. Wife came home, cheated, lost everything in divorce court. She took the kids, turned them against him. Dude's living check to check. If he misses one payment, he gets thrown in jail. His life is a complete mess. Every day he thinks about ending it all. One guy was literally telling me, he's like, every day I come here and I down myself in a couple glasses, I taste the barrel less and less. What? Okay, it was that dire. I've heard way too many stories. The only reason I still harp about men getting married outside of the West is because I've seen what a healthy marriage looks like firsthand with my family. I have a traditionally masculine father with a traditionally feminine mother that go by traditional old world rules and customs, and that is a beautiful thing to behold. Not everybody was raised in that kind of household. You don't know what it's like until you see it. I understand if my parents were divorced and I was raised in a single parent household, or I seen a nasty divorce growing up, I would swear off marriage too. Total.
I agree with him there. Because back in the day, a lot of women put up with a lot of men and what they did, and just kind of ignored them, cheating on them. They just kind of weathered the storm of the relationship and of the marriage. So people stayed together longer back in the day. Whereas now, these women, like I said, they got their own things, they got their own money. They ain't putting up with that stuff anymore. So, but I agree with him. I believe there should be two parents in the home. I believe in a traditional marriage. I believe in certain roles for the woman and the man. I love that, because that's how God created it to be. Women have their roles, men have their role, and what they're supposed to do: take care of the family, provide for the family, lead them by God. So, and if you have a stable marriage like that, and the guy, like I said in one of my last videos, the husband is doing what he's supposed to do. This is God. He's following God. So if he's following God, no matter what you go through, that marriage is going to last, because you got that foundation. You got something holding you guys accountable, and you can have a lasting relationship and stay together. And you just got to like each other because of that too. So it's a lot of things, but you just got to do what you're supposed to do as far as the traditional marriage and how it's supposed to be done. I hate it now, and I kind of hate, I mean, I love it, and then I hate now how, women, we do have our own things, because it's going to change the dynamic of the man and the woman's role. And I don't too much care for that, even though I love the fact that women have their own things in the event that the man does cheat and she's stuck with all these kids and she don't want to leave because she don't want to break up the family, and she doesn't have the means to provide for herself and take care of herself. And, so I love it for that fact that women will have a way out. But I don't like it when things are starting to become untraditional and the woman is just feeling like I may as well just do it myself because it's just not being done. The role of the man is just not being done. We are multitaskers. We can get it all done, take care of the kids, work, do it all. So it almost is making the men's role becoming more obsolete, and the men are starting to feel a certain kind of way to now I want a traditional woman. Well, we used to be traditional. What were you guys doing in them streets? Some of y'all.
Totally would understand it. Never would I give my time. But because I've seen what it looks like when it's working, I will always try to attain it. I want to give my future kids the life I grew up in and more, because it is a beautiful thing. It is the ideal scenario. It's what we all strive for as men. We want to be leaders of our households. We want to have our beautiful wives at home cooking, carefree, watching our kids. It's just in the world today where hedonism, materialism, consumerism, all this degenerate shit reigns supreme. All these narratives that are counter to the nuclear family are being pushed and disseminated from the powers to be, separating us more and more, making us hate each other, becoming adversarial. I understand why.
Yeah, they are trying to get rid of the nuclear family type ideal with all this transgenderism things, and making it seem like, oh, this is a traditional family when you have a wife and a wife, or a husband and a husband. And they're teaching it in our schools, and you have to go back and watch my oh, there was another thing too in my kids. Oh, I should have mentioned that in my other video. One of his lessons, his homeschool lessons, because this is not private school. It's still like public school. He's taking the classes as if he's still going to public school. It's on a public school pace. And I remember one of the lessons, and they kind of warned us before, you get to the lesson that is going to talk about this certain subject. And so I went to go look on the page. Lo and behold, they got a picture of two dads. I forgot what they were saying about the two dads. Or they was trying to say, this is our family. This is how our family look. So you see where it's going. They're trying to get rid of this nuclear family type thing.
Why society is going in the direction it's going. I understand why men are saying, I'm going my own way, I'm checking out, I don't want to deal with this. It makes complete sense. If I was in those kinds of environments growing up, I would swear off all this shit too. I get it.
What do you get in a society where there's always going to be a safety net for women? There's always going to be a safety net for...
There should be a safety net for women. People, I don't know if men, they don't understand the disadvantage we have. Not only that in and of itself, of all the body changes we got to go through, we losing some of that as well. And nothing happened to you guys. Let me see your scars. Let me see some of your organs out of place and certain things happen inside your body. And let me see you cope with that. Let me see you have to take care of kids and all day and then try to work. Of course, the government going to set up certain benefits for women because we going to need it. That's hard trying to take care of kids and say you and the man split and you now got to work a 9 to 5 or 8 to 5 to come home. You won't have any time. You will not have any time, not even on the weekends. Because on the weekends, you got to prepare for the weekday. So I think there should be something set in place for women. There needs to be. And I don't know if men get that because they have the same argument. I hear that same argument all the time. And I don't see how they can say that. But you give a man just one day taking care of them churn, and go to work too, and come home and cook and help them with their homework. And oh, they sick. Oh, you better stay up all night taking care of them. And you better get your butt back up the next morning and go to work too. And I bet you they'll be like, okay, no, let me just go to work. I bet you they'll change their attitude so fast.